Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being with me today. I know for some of you it's morning. I know our friend Helen down in Australia is watching early in the morning, and some are in different time zones, so I appreciate you all being here. So today we are going to be working on our smartphones, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite apps to use. So I'm not working in Photoshop. I just have this up for the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my iPad. Of course, you can do all of these on your phone as well as an iPad if you have it, or a tablet if you're on Androids. I like to work on my tablet when I can because it's a bigger, obviously, screen, especially when I'm teaching. So it shows up much bigger on the computer that way. So I'm just giving this a second. It's connecting. There we go. Alrighty. So here we go. All right. So we've got a few different projects, and I'm going to show you some different apps. With the notes, if you purchase them, the last page of the notes is also a list of all the apps I'm using today. I also have on there whether they're Apple and Android or both, as well as their icons in the online stores, the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, because sometimes there's apps with very similar or even the same names, so this way you would know you're getting the right one. And I'll talk a little bit about pricing too on some of these. I've noticed lately a lot of these apps are getting crazy with their subscription prices. I had an app that I had been using for years, and I had bought it for, I don't know, a few dollars. And I did a smartphone seminar for a camera club last week. The very next day, I went to use the app, and it had updated, and now the subscriptions were like $80 a year. It's like, are you nuts? I don't use these things enough to pay that for a phone app. You know, it's one thing if it's on your desktop and you're using it often, you know, like Nick or something else that's, you know, a big, robust app. But something on your phone, some of these companies are getting a little crazy. So anyway, so I'm going to jump in. And because I know you can't see where I'm pointing on the iPad, I will, you know, say where the controls are that I'm hitting so you have some idea what I'm doing. So we're going to start with Snapseed, and on my iPad it's the third row, the left icon that looks like the green leaf. Snapseed is a fabulous editor. It's also got lots of creative effects in it, and the best part about it, it's free. And it does not have ads because it's owned by Google. It's both Apple and Android. So they just in the last few months totally revamped the layout of it, which I hadn't been aware of, and I went to use it and was like, whoa, where'd everything go? So, but once you get used to it, it is actually a smarter way to do things. So we're going to start to bring in an image at the bottom. There's a green circle with a plus sign, and that will let you go to your photos. And I have stuff for today in a folder. I just have to find it. November webinar. And we're going to start with this image. Oh, and the new thing that I keep forgetting to do, it used to be you would just click the image and it would open it. Now at the top of the screen and the upper right above my photos, you'll see add. So you have to click add for it to actually open in the image. So I took this last month on one of my workshops. We were in Virginia. I had to stop and think, where I've been to so many places. And I was just doing this as some in-camera, a little bit of movement. Looked up on this hill above us. We were actually shooting an old mill, and the light coming through these trees just looked really pretty. So we're going to make this look even better. So we're going to start by going to make some basic adjustments. So on the very bottom, you have looks, faves, your favorites, and tools. Looks are like presets, which I'm not going to use on this particular image, but I'll show you what they look like. Okay, not sure why I just did that. So you can see there are a bunch of different presets down here, but we're going to go right into tools. And the top left one is adjust, which is what we want to do, is make all of our basic adjustments. And at the bottom, you see right now it's on brightness. So under that menu, it will do brightness, contrast, saturation, ambiance, highlights, shadows, and warmth. So we're going to start with brightness. Okay, things are being a little weird already. And to move the control at the bottom, you can either use, if you have an Apple Pencil, if you're on an iPad, you can use that. Sometimes I just use my finger. And I'm just going to move this slider over. Just going to use my finger. I think it's easier right now. And I'm going to move the brightness to 12. And now I want us to go to the next item in this menu. So you can either hit where it says brightness at the bottom, but if you just scroll your finger up on the screen, touch the screen and scroll up, it will actually pop up that menu and you can go to the next item. And I'm going to bring the contrast down, which normally you're adding contrast, but for this image, it worked better as a negative. I'm going to go into my saturation and add some saturation. And we're going to go into ambiance. Ambiance, I find, is kind of like vibrance in Photoshop. It just adds a little extra oomph, I think, to the images is the best way I can describe it. My highlights, I'm going to actually brighten a little. And shadows, I'm also going to open up. And then I'm going to add some warmth to this image. And I'm going to add a lot of warmth. And that's going to get us going where I wanted to go with this image. I really wanted to bring out the fall feeling to this image. So now that I'm done with all of those, in the lower right, there's a little check mark that will accept these changes and take you back to the menu. Next, I'm going to go into Glow, which is in the third section under Style, the second from the left. It's like a little face there. And I'm going to use the preset, and I'm going to use number 5, which is really going to, give it that glow. We have that available in other programs. In Nick, I use it in Luminar, different things. I like it gives it that soft kind of edges to it. So we're going to hit the check mark to accept that. And next I'm going to go into Perspective, which is in the second section next to Crop. Crop is on the left, and we're going to go Perspective because my trees are a little angled and I just want to straighten those a little. So I'm at the bottom on Free Transform, and I'm just going to grab the upper right little circle there and just kind of pull it a little bit to straighten that tree on the right, and then on the left I'm going to pull that a little bit that way and just get those a little bit straighter. And I'm going to hit my check mark to accept that. And then now I want to save this image, so I'm just going to swipe down on that box to get it out of my way. In the upper right, the circle with the up arrow, I'm going to click on that. And I always do save a copy. And it is now saved to my photos. So sometimes now when you go to your library, if you wanted to specifically go into your library and find that image, if you don't see it in your main library, some programs create their own folders, and Snapseed is one of those. So if I go into, let me go to my front page and go to Photos, and let's go into here and go to Library. I don't have that right here at the bottom, which should be my latest photo. So that means if you don't see something in your library, scroll down under the folders and you can see some of the different apps that have created their own images, folders, and Snapseed is one of them. And you can see I saved this a few times as I was working on it, but that would be where I would find it. So it can get a little confusing. Unfortunately, that's just how some of these apps work. Next, we're going to take this into Lens Light. And I like to work with more than one app usually on an image. So Lens Light is the row below Snapseed, right in the middle, that looks like the blue starburst. Lens Light is Apple only, and it's $4.99. So I'm going to click on Photos. And what will happen that when you're going from app to app, you can see the photo we just edited is at the top. So I can select that one. I don't have to go searching for it. It will usually pop up on a lot of these different apps. So this screen is if I wanted to crop something. I don't want to crop it, so I'm just going to hit the check mark at the top right. And it's going to open up in here. And then to get to the different effects at the bottom, the left-hand little icon, it looks like a gear wheel, and it says effects. That's going to show you the different categories this has. This has a lot of different effects in it. It's not something you use every day, but if you like to work with, especially landscapes, or although I've even done it, the concert image that was there previously, before this one opened, I've done it to accent, lighting and something like that. There's a lot of cool things you can do in here. So I'm going to go to the Sun collection, fourth one down. And you can see all the effects in here. This one's got less than some categories. Some categories have tons. And I'm going to choose the one called Helios. And I think I've got a typo in the notes. It says Nelios, but it's the bottom left one that says Helios. So what I like about this program, it's very customizable. So we can, just by clicking and dragging our finger, we can put this light anywhere we want it to be. And I'm going to kind of go over there. And then we can edit it. So next to effects is the edit button. And in here, scale will change the size of it. So and it's kind of hard to, the numbers are right at the top of the line, but they're very faint. And you only see them when you're sliding the slider. So we're going to go there. I'm going to make the brightness a little bit less, 0.6. The aspect, I'm going to leave at 1. The source, I'm going to bring down there. And the artifacts are the little like rainbow color light rays towards the left. If you don't want those in there, you can slide this all the way to 0 and it will get rid of the artifacts, which I really didn't want. I just wanted the actual starburst. And then I changed the color. I moved this a little bit towards the greenish kind of side, and it gave me more of a color that I liked, a little more orangey, which seems weird because it's going in the opposite direction, but that's what I have that I did before. So if we go way up here, it's going to get too bright. I just moved it a little bit. Okay. And now I'm ready to save this one. Did you have a question, dear? Oh, yes, this is Lens Light, and it's an Apple only app. So just so you can see, you can also add more than one thing in here. You'll see at the very bottom under the word artifacts, it says layers. If I wanted to add something else, I could just click the next empty box and select another effect. So you can stack different effects as well in here, which is really cool. And you can also add a layer mask if you wanted to remove part of something. And then they also have some filters, color filters, and some textures that you can add. So it comes with a lot of stuff in here. So it's a pretty robust app. So I'm going to save this one in the upper right. We're going to hit the box with the up arrow and hit save. And that is now saved. And it pops up and tells you that it is. So now the image is done. I want to show you how you can add a watermark to your images and how I like to do it. So I'm going to close this. There are some apps made for watermarking, and I've tried a few of them over the years and was never really very impressed with them. And I found this other app. This is called Image Blender. It's the third row on the right, the red one with the squares. And it's really designed to like merge two photos together, but one of those can be your photo and one of them could be your watermark. So that's what I like to use for it, and it's really simple. So you can see in the bottom corners, I've got little squares. Because I didn't do anything, it actually popped up what those squares are for. So on the left side, you'll click this square, and we're going to bring in our background image. So I'm going to go to Photos. And again, there's the one we just added the starburst to. So we're going to select that. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to click that little square and go to Photos. And I'm going to go to a different folder where I know I have my logo. And this is my regular logo I add on everything. Of course, we're going to change the size because that's much too big. And this is a PNG file because it has a transparent background. You don't want a JPEG with a white background because then you're going to have a big white square when you apply your logo. So at the top, I'm going to hit the little plus sign with the arrows on the corners, and that's going to let me resize it. And all I'm going to do is pinch with 2 fingers and make it the size I want it. Move it into position. And I'll hit save in the upper right to save that change. And then to adjust the opacity of the logo, the dot on the center, it defaults to 50%. And we can just move it over. And I usually do 70 to 80 depending on the image. And this would be, if you want to post it on social media, you want to put your watermark on it, you would be ready to go. Patricia, this one is Image Blender. And this is also both Apple and Android. It is on Apple Store, it's $3.99. It's called Photo Blender on Android, and it's free. And I've also on the note sheet put a link to some other Photo Blender apps for Androids. I had found an article at one point. Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot. Dave mentioned, somebody said that Lenslight there was something else that was similar, which I'm sure there is. Yeah, Danelle says you can find it. It's in the iPad, Apple apps. Yeah, just go to the App Store, and if you have Apple, or like I said, it's an Apple only one, the Lenslight. If I've found similar things on Androids, I've put those on the sheets as the alternates. I'm not sure that I found one for Lenslight. So, what's up? Lenslight visual. Oh, okay, Pat Rec typed in Lenslight visual effects is the Android equivalent. So you can check that out if you're on Androids. Thank you, Pat. You're helpful as always. Okay, so now we want to save this. So I'm going to, in the upper right, hit the up arrow and then save to Photos. And that will now save to my library. And that is our finished image. And I love the way this one came out. I thought it was real pretty, if I say so myself. Okay, and then you'll see in the upper right, it also asks, start over on a clean project. So if you are going to be doing something totally different, when you come back into this app, what it will do is give you that blank screen when you come back in. Sometimes if I'm working on a bunch of images at the same time, I won't hit the yes, I'll just close it. And then what I can do is it'll keep my logo on the right, and on the bottom left, just click that square again, hit remove to remove the image that's there, then hit it again and go to Photos, and you can select another image. You just pick anything. And then if you need to, you can hit that plus sign to resize the logo. Like for this one, I would move it to the other side. But it will, instead of having to keep importing your logo, if you're working on a bunch of photos at a time, you can do that. Okay. So next we're going to start with Retouch. And that is next to Snapseed. It looks like the green pencil. This is both Apple and Android. And I've had it for a long time. And I know when I bought it, it was only a few dollars. Now they have a free trial, but they have various subscriptions. So you have to kind of look at that. I'm hoping mine doesn't ever update. I had that happen with that other one last week. So let's go to our folder. I wish they would put these alphabetically up here because it would make my life a whole lot easier, but it doesn't. So we're going to start with this image. This was from my Haunted West Virginia workshop that I finished a couple weeks ago. Yep. No, Arlene wasn't on this one. This was Lake Shawnee Haunted Amusement Park. This is one of the old ticket booths, and yes, that doll was there. It was there when I was in the spring, too. So we're going to kind of emphasize that in this image. But what I wanted to do in Retouch is great for removing power lines, as well as some objects, smaller things. It doesn't do a great job with, like, if you want to remove really big things in an image, but it's great for lines. Yes, it used to be called Touch Retouch, and when you first open it, sometimes the logo will pop up and it says that, but in the app stores, now it's just called Retouch. So they, somewhere along the line, changed the name. So what I wanted to do here was up at the very top, I have that one branch. It almost looks like a wire coming through here, but it's a branch, but that just kind of annoyed me. So I'm going to get rid of that. But because it's a very thin line, I can use the same thing I would use for a power line removal. So at the bottom, we have objects, lines, meshes, which sometimes work okay. That's like if you have a chain link fence in an image, it can get rid of that. There is a clone stamp and a blur tool. So I'm going to click on lines, and you can do the whole line. There's also one for segment, and I find the segment, if I'm working in front of a really busy background, sometimes it works better to kind of do it in smaller sections. So that's what segment will redo. So to use this, you can use either a stylus or your finger. And I'm just going to kind of draw along where this line is. And obviously, I'm not being even that accurate. But when I let go, it finds that line and poof, it's gone. I'm going to do that one at the very top of the image as well. And with these, it does a fabulous job. I really, really love it for power lines. So that's all. Let's see. Oh, what else did I want? I'm going to go back. So I'm going to hit the back arrow on the bottom left, and I'm going to go into objects. And in the bottom to the left of this ticket booth, it was like an old spindle or something sitting there, and there's a couple bright spots I just wanted to get rid of. So I'm going to use the brush and just brush over what I want to get rid of. And then I have this one set to manually, so I click go on the right, and then it gets rid of it. So anything small you want to get rid of, you can do that. And you could, right now it says manual. If I click it again, now it would be auto. So when I do something like with the power line, once I let go, it would automatically do it. Sometimes with these, I kind of like to see what I'm doing before I hit the go button. So, well, I don't know. It was a little spooky. In fact, this time when I got to this booth, it was tipped over on its side, so I had to stand it back up or sit it back up so that it was in the right position. So we're done in this app. So in the upper right, I'm going to go ahead and hit the up arrow, and then again, I always save as a copy because I never want to save over my original. And it says it's been successfully saved. So now we're going to take it into Snapseed. And I'm going to hit the little picture icon up top. And I'm just going to go back to the main screen, hit the arrow, and hit the plus sign. Unable to load photos. Well, that's not good. That's a new one. There we go. I just hit try again, and it loaded. Right, so again, there's the one that we just edited. I keep forgetting to hit that add. What's that, babe? Yeah, maybe it wasn't done saving. And that's why it was not loading. Either that or it was the little doll cursing us. So for this one, we're going to go to our tools and go to the adjust again in the upper left there. And I'm going to bring my brightness down. We're going to make this look real spooky. We're going to use another app on it too. Are we? Yeah, we're going to use a couple things on this one. So I'm going to bring the brightness down. I'm going to scroll up and add some contrast. Not that much. And then add some ambience. And then I'm going to bring my highlights down. Minus. And open up the shadows just a little. Okay, so that's got that part set. So I'm going to hit the check mark in the bottom right. I'm going to swipe that down. We're going to go ahead and save this one. Hit the up arrow and save a copy. Ambience is kind of like, I think for me it seems to work kind of like, yeah, I just forgot the, like vibrance in Photoshop. So it just does a little, I don't know, gives it a little oomph, yeah. That's the technical term, right? Okay, so next we're going to use two other apps, actually three. And these next two apps are by a company called JixiePix. And I have a whole folder of apps up at the top center of my screen. I have, I think it's 22 of their apps in here. JixiePix are, some of these I use a lot. These are some of my favorites. They are both Apple and Android. You can buy the phone apps range from $199 to $499. They're not subscriptions. It's a one-time thing. They also make apps for your desktop. So I have the premium pack for their desktop. It consists of 18 apps. The regular price is $119.99, but Black Friday is coming, and they generally do some like 50% off sales. That's how I bought it when it was half price. What they've also done the last few years is in December, they do a 12 days of Christmas promotion. They have the last, I think it's like 5 or 6 years that I've been getting their stuff. And each day it's a one-day sale for each thing. And some days it's a free app for your phone. So I did not buy all of these apps for my phone. A lot of these I got for free. Sometimes it's a special on one of their desktops apps. You can also buy individual apps for the desktop. Most of them are around $10 or so. Again, not subscriptions, one-time prices, and I've never had to pay to upgrade anything. So keep an eye on my blog as we get close to Black Friday, and hopefully we'll have some stuff coming from them. So these ones on the top row are probably the ones I use the most. We have Vintage Scene, Impresso, Grunge-tastic, and Dramatic is their black and white app. I also sometimes use the chromatic edges often, and I have all of those on my computer. No, the bundles are not for the phone. The bundles are only for desktop. Phone apps are priced individually. So we're going to start with black and white. So what I like about their apps is a few things. So they're all, The interface is the same whether you're on your phone or on your desktop. When you open up an app, you get this basically blank screen, and at the bottom, this white toolbar is going to change depending on which app we're in. Otherwise, everything else is the same. And all these presets are very customizable. So I'm going to click on the bottom to get photo. Again, I'm going to pick the last one that we just worked on. And when you bring in a photo, it's going to randomly apply a preset, which most of the time is not the one that you actually want. But now that we've brought in a photo, you can see we have icons on that white toolbar. So the little home one is where you're going to come back to where we are now when you're ready to save. We're going to go into the next one, the star, and that's going to show you all the presets. So this one has 3 different categories. It has black and white, dramatic black and white, which is more high contrast, and then a faux infrared. So I'm going to, in this black and white category, I chose number 7 because I'm going for some moodiness here. So what this kind of oval circle is, it's kind of designed to be like a vignetting type of a thing. Right now you can see the corners are darkened, but again, we can also adjust that. So if I hit the last icon down here, it's called a spotlight. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to utilize this spotlight to emphasize the doll. So I'm just going to grab the circles on the edges and kind of resize this, and I'm going to move it down here. And then that's about where I want that. So I'm going to go back to the middle icon that looks like it looks like a bulleted list. And that's going to give me my adjustments. So tone, I'm going to bring all the way to 0. I'm going to go where it says soften and sharpen. I'm going to go sharpen like 45. And this is affecting the whole image, not just that spotlight. And then between darken and brighten, I'm going to go brighten all the way to 100. And contrast to 60. Okay, so now I want to go to the next icon, and we have color here. So the black and white strength, I'm moving all the way to 100. Grain strength to 0. And I'm going to go back into my adjust, because I don't remember it being quite that dark overall. So I'm looking to see did I miss something. Black and white 7. We're all the way at 100 on the brighten. So we're gonna go with this and see what happens, because we're gonna do some more stuff to this. So we're gonna be brightening that up as well. So we're gonna save this. So we're going to go back to the home button, that little house, and say save. Okay. Now we're going to go to Grunge-tastic, get photo, and again, open the one that we just worked on. And I'm going to go to the star. So this one has a lot of categories in it. This one has a whole lot of stuff. And I'm going to use the distressed category, number 11. And then something got a little weird here. Let's go to tone. And I'm going to click on the green square, and that's going to bring up a color picker so we can change our color. Now, of course, when I'm starting this, I would, generally use my pencil for this. I want to go to more of a sepia look, but I have the numbers, so I'm just going to move the sliders. Might be off a number or 2, but it'll be pretty close. And 64. And then Yeah, this definitely came out way darker. I don't know what I did. We're going to go in here. So these two like checkerboardy looking things are the two textures that it's applying to this image. And you can see in here there are 108 different textures you can play with. And the one that's currently being used is the one highlighted in blue. So I changed it to number 29. And the strength I made 30. And I changed the color to black. And just click off the side. And then grunge 2, I went to number 52. And also made that one black. So just take all those to 0. And the strength to 15. And then we can also, the one that looks like a frame, there are edge textures. And I went with, and I will show you the correct, I don't know what I did to get this so dark. So I left the 28 was the one it was on, but I changed the color to more of a gray. 28. Actually, I went to like 190 on each one. You can't type in the number, but you can get close. It's kind of like maybe a 25% gray there. And then we would save this one, go to the home key, and save. And then I went into, I'm working on this image, but I know it's way too dark. I'll show you the finished one. Something I messed up somewhere. We're going to go back to Snapseed and go back here. Let's open up our last image. I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. And I added under tools, I went to the glow. I used number 3, which you can't see. I'm going to just open my other image. So let's X out of here. I'm just going to open my finished one so you can see what I did. Because I did something wrong. Yeah, Chucky got me. Dave just said. So this is what the finished one should look like. So I added some glow, and then under in here there's under style we have retro lux, which are kind of like gradient tones. So that's how I got the sepia. And then I went back to glow again and added it again. X out of there. But this is what my finished image looked like. So, yeah, and it just has, come on. You can see the doll is kind of highlighted, but not as dramatically as it was when we started. So I was just going for something kind of spooky, but I wanted to emphasize the doll. So I'll have to see what I did to that one later. Okay, next, so I'm not going to save that one because it's already done. So next we're going to start with what's probably my most favorite app, and that's Distressed Effects. And that's next to Image Blender. You'll see 2 apps that have a bird icon. So Distressed Effects is Apple only. I have not been able to find anything like it in Android. It's a adding textures app. It comes with lots of textures in it. So the reason I have the 2 icons, the green bird is the original version. It used to be that you would purchase the app, and now they just upped the prices this year a little bit because they've improved it quite a bit. So the basic app is 99 cents. And then the additional texture packs that are available in there are $1.99 each. However, they, a few years ago, came out with Distressed Effects Plus, which is the multicolored bird. And this one sells for $19.99. It's a one-time fee. It's not a subscription. And it includes all of the current texture packs as well as anything that may be added in the future. And they have added some. Holly says 99 cents is way over my budget. She's so funny. Normally I don't spend that on an app, and when I got it, it used to be $13.99. It did just go up a few dollars. And I'll show you how many packs are in. There's over 35 packs. So if you were to spend $1.99 on each pack, you'd be spending over $70. So it's worth the $20 if you really like working with textures, as you all know I love to do. So when you first open it, this is just a default photo that shows up. So we're going to click in the top left, the camera icon, choose photo, and we're going to go to our folder. And this one I'm going to use this old truck. So I'm going to use this version of it. So this one, I did take this into Photoshop and get rid of some distractions that were in the background first, because I couldn't do it very well with the retouch. Yeah, Dave said, I know where that's at. Yes, this is in Jerome, Arizona. This was part of our Sedona workshop in September. It's called the Gold King Mine, and they've got lots of old rusty crusty things, trucks and all kinds of things. Yes, all of the apps, Danielle asked if Distressed Effects is available for iPad. All of these apps, you buy them once and it's available on both. So all of them, if I put an app on my phone, it shows up on my iPad. You don't have to buy both. I did have a company contact me last week with an offer to beta test a new app, and it's the first one I've ever seen that specifically said it was the phone only. They had a separate version for the iPad. That is not normal. All the apps I have are on both. Same thing with, Dave has an Android. If he buys something on his phone, it shows up on his, well, you have an iPad now, but when you were using the other tablet, he used to have a regular tablet that, apps would show up there. So you only have to buy it one time. All right, Carol, I will try and get back to Image Blender. I don't know if we're using that again, but I'll see how much time we have. It's already 4:45, so I don't know if I will at this point, but okay. So this one, so when you come in here, we have 2 rows of icons at the bottom. So the top row are more like overlays. They're more color-based than heavy textures, where the bottom row is what I would consider textures. So we're going to start with, on the bottom row, I'm going to slide all the way to the right, and you'll see a little icon that says Switch Pack. So this is where you find all of the other texture packs. So in this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different texture packs just for that row. So I'm going to go to Old World Gallery. And I'm going to use the one on the bottom called Twilight. Bottom. This first one. Okay. So you can adjust the opacity of textures by clicking on the, just above the top row, the little slider icon. That will let you adjust, by bringing the slider down, would adjust the opacity. This one I'm going to leave at 100%. I'm going to lower the brightness. These 3 are going around the photo. On the left is brightness, on the bottom is saturation, and on the right is contrast. And I'm going to lower the brightness of this just a little bit. And then hit the X to close that. And then on the top row in this original pack, I'm going to use the one kind of reddish one called Koi. And you can also change blending modes. So you'll see right now over that icon at the bottom, it says overlay. If you hit it again, it will bring up, you have multiply, overlay, hard light, soft light, and screen. And those are the ones, even on Photoshop, 99% of the time, that's what you use with textures. So I'm going to change that to soft light. And I'm also going to lower the brightness on that one just a little. Okay. So I want to add another texture. So if I go and change something on one of these rows now, it's going to replace what I've already done. So if you want to keep this version to be able to see this at this point, again, you could save it now, and then we're going to flatten it. So to save, you would hit in the upper right, again, the up arrow. Come on. And then save image down here. And you can also share to their Instagram account if you want. So now I want to flatten this so I can add another texture. So I'm just going to press on the screen anywhere over the image, and you'll get that pop up, and I'll say flatten. So now this is my original. What's that, dear? If you don't like the texture, just pick another one and it'll replace that one. So that's why I flattened this first to add another one, because if I chose something else, it would have replaced what I did. So yeah, when I get in here and, work on an image, I've tried, I don't know, probably 30 different textures before I found things that I liked. And you could just keep clicking. So if I apply something, I apply something else. So you just keep clicking until you find something you like. Okay, so you're not limited to anything. There is an undo up here as well. If you've done anything other than flattening it, it will reset it back to that original. So if you've changed a couple of things and you just don't like it at all, that'll, if you've changed something on, selected a texture on both rows, you can just undo everything, and that'll bring you back to, this is our original now. So now I'm going to go down here. I'm still in the old world gallery, and I'm going to use this third one called Celia, and I'm going to change this. There isn't a percentage number, so it's kind of by eyeball. I'm going to go back to maybe about 80%. And this one, oops, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to brighten just a smidge. And then we're going to save this. So I'm going to hit the up arrow and save image. And now I'm going to show you what else we're another program. Sorry, I thought we were going somewhere else. Getting ahead of myself. So we are going to go into this one called Mixture. So on the second from the bottom up, it's called Mixtures. It's this little stylized M there. And we're going to, on the bottom, click Library. And you can see here's the two versions that we saved. So I'm going to pick the last one. I'm not going to crop it, so I'm going to say yes, use. Oh, and then uncropped. Sorry. So then it brings us into different categories that they have. So at the bottom, you'll see we have textures and formulas. Formulas are presets. So if you think you want to check out presets, you want to do that before you add anything from the textures category. Because if you do textures and then add a formula, the formula is going to override everything you just did in textures. So you always want to use formulas first. I'm just going to go to the textures, and I'm going to go to the grunge category. Of course I am, because y'all know I like that. And I'm going to use the one called Concrete Jungle. And you can add multiples in here where the icon above the colored squares, the second from the left where it says 1, I can then hit the plus sign and it will add another layer. So right now it's telling me I have 1 layer. So I'm going to click on the little sliders icon, and this will let you make some other adjustments in here. I'm not going to, this is where you could, I'm not going to adjust anything, but you also have some other things at the bottom. So I'm just with this one going to make you can see right below the photo, the number change as I'm sliding. I'm going to go to like 80% on that. And then I'm going to add a layer. So I'm going to hit this plus sign. And we're going to go back to grunge. And there's one called Dirty Pop, this first one. And I'm going to lower that one to like 45%, 44. And we're going to save that. And save image. You can also, if you create your own formula, with adding a bunch of things, you can save the formula. So that is saved. And that is our image. Okay, you can go away now. There we go. So that's my final image. All right, so that's that one. So where are we at in time? We might go a few minutes over because I have, I think, 2 more things to show you. Actually 3. So let's see where we go. All right, so that's that one. So next we're going to do, I'm going to open in Snapseed. We're going to go to back. Thank you, Vicki. I'm glad you like it. We're going to go to our Glade Creek. So I'm going to save time, I'm going to show you what the finished one from Snapseed. I think you get the hang of how to use it. So I'll show you what it looks like after I made changes. You can kind of see these 2 images here. The left one is the unedited, and then this is after I made some changes. I added some contrast, ambience, and warmth. And I used a preset, the Accentuate preset, which just popped the colors really nicely. And then a little bit of glow, and the frame gave it the rounded edges. So it does have in here tools. At the bottom, there is a frames category. So you can add different edges to your images. So there's quite a few things in here. There's 23. So you can go through those and add. And I did this kind of curved area. So I'm going to show you another app with this. I'm going to give this a painterly look. So I'm going to use, and this is one I've had for a while and hadn't really used a lot, and I decided to try it for this image. So underneath of retouch, the one that looks like the parrot is called brushstroke. And this I started using as that one I told you got real expensive on me last week. Kind of did this type of effect, and I found an alternate. This is Apple and Android. It's free with various paid versions. So you have to check that one out, but it's not as crazy as the other one was. Let's see. Holly says, am I taking JPEGs or RAW and then using the apps to do the edit, or am I editing in Apple Photos, another program, and taking that into the app? I am, usually sometimes I will use the native, Apple editing to do it. And I shoot all my photos in RAW on my phone. Snapseed, I can bring the RAW file right in there. You don't have to change it to anything else. All these programs will read it. But once I, do it either in, the Edit Photos app or in Snapseed, then it will save as a JPEG from there. And then I go, from one program to another. David said, I've watched more than a few of your smartphone webinars. Wow, how many phone apps do you own? Way more than I'm showing you today. I'll show you the screen later. I have a lot. And some, I buy because somebody suggested it, and I have way more than I need. So let's bring in our gristmill to here. This was also from our workshop a few weeks ago. So I'm going to click on the picture side. I don't want to use that one. We're going to go to, oh, I guess I have to click here. And then at the bottom, I'm going to go to my, I want recents, select photo. No, cancel. And hit that arrow. There we go. So get to my albums here. Hey, what's up? How do you have capacity for RAW photos if you use RAW most of the time? I pay $10 a month to Apple to have larger capacity because I, want to have the RAW files when I'm teaching. So that's how I do it. I have a lot of space, and I do. Sometimes I'll go through there once or twice a year and take out the oldest ones. I have them all downloaded to my computer. So that's why I can do that. All right, let me find this image. So we are going to, where's my, I'm going to find the right folder. Okay. I wish they would put them in order. Dave's going, it helps if you put them in order. Well, if I can't, but it'd be really nice if they were. So we're going to take this image. It's just my edited one. So what I want to do here, brushstroke is going to create different painterly effects. So I do want to click at the top and say select photo. I'm not cropping it, so we're just going to cancel because we don't need to crop it. All right. Goodness. I'm trying to hit, come on, select photo, reset, rotate. I guess just hit crop because I'm not going to really crop it. All right. So now, how do I get to my stuff? Where did it all go? You can tell I haven't used this a lot lately. This is brushstroke. I just canceled it. That's right. All right. I don't need the album. I want to get to my controls. You can tell I haven't used this a lot yet, right? Oh, okay. So at the upper right, I hit the arrow, and that got me to all the presets. So again, it randomly applied one. So you can see there are different categories. We have oil painting, washed, and I'm going to go to the natural category, use number 1. And then you can, there are sliders, you can make adjustments, vibrance, density, brightness, contrast, all this kind of stuff. The second one changes the kind of canvas that it's painted on if you wanted to change that, or the paper. You can adjust some other tones here as well. So it is, again, very customizable, and the letter A will, if you wanted to sign your photo, you could sign your photo with your finger. So I'm just going to use this the way that the preset was, because I liked the way that looked. And then I'm going to, again, hit the arrow in the upper right, and then say save. You could also, if you don't want to get another app and you like this one is, I said it's free with various paid versions. Jixi Pix, some of the painterly ones in there, the Impresso, or there's the watercolor. There's a few different painterly apps that you could get similar looks with. And that is my finished app. I thought that was pretty. So what model iPad? My iPad is ancient. It is iPad 2. So I've had this for a very long time, and I just hate the thought of spending $2,000 to get the one that I want, because I have extra memory in it, and it's the larger size. It's the Pro one, and I priced it out, and it's close to $2,000 to get what I want the way I want it, and I don't need to do that till this one dies. So I have not updated it in a very long time. This is my one and only iPad I've ever had. All right, so I just want to show you, let's see, another Jixi Pix app. I'm going to go into Vintage Scene, Get Photo. Holly said, Dave will gladly get you there for the holidays. Yeah, the money all comes from the same place. So. And he's cheaper than me. He says, unless it's coming out of your coffee pot, where your magic $100 bills keep showing up. Okay, so we're going to go in here and select our photo. And I'm going to select the rocking chair. And this is actually was kind of local to us. A few towns over when I was doing a Barnes and Backroads workshop. They had this really cool rocking chair with these nice Southwest style pillows on it. So this one we're going to go into the star. I'm going to use antique photo category number 1. And then we're going to make some changes. So in the sliders, image age, I'm going to click on the box. And I'm going to adjust these. 93, 100, and 100. Ew, no, not 55. I went too far. Like around 100 there. And 100. 101 will do. And then let me click off the side. And then image strength, I want to move that to 100. So what that's doing is letting the image show through the texture more, and same thing with the enhance image. It kind of enhances that and makes it come through the texture a little better. And then we're going to go into texture style. I'm going to click on normal and change this color to there. And there. And then the last one, we're going to add a border. I'm going to use worn paper. We're going to use the default one here. On the one old border, I chose number 2. And that's that one. So then again, to save it. The other cool thing that I want to point out with these JixiePix apps, if you notice in the upper right, there's a pair of dice icon. And what that will do is if you click it, it's going to randomly apply a preset. And this is something that's like fun to do. You're sitting watching TV and you want to play around with some photos and don't really know what you want to do. It's a kind of cool way to kind of see what some of the apps do. And if you do find something you like, save it because you may not get back to it again. And you can still go in and edit these, further once you find something you like. But that's what that dice is for up there. All right, one more, last one. And I'm going to show you the JixiePix Impresso. So this is another, the one I use most out of their painting apps. And we'll get photo right here, and that's the original one, I think. And then we're going to go to, we have 2 categories. I'm going to use Alla Prima. And I like this one called Light Depth. And then we're going to go to the settings. So here we can control the size of the brush, the depth of the bristle strokes, enhance the color, and the painted edge. So we're going to go brush size, brush depth, color enhance, and painted edge. And with the painted, I gotta wait for it to catch up. Painted edge, the more you go, the wider the border is going to go into your image. And that was it. Now we would save that one, go back to home, and save. Well, we're only 4 minutes over. Yay! Oh, yes, and Dave reminded me, don't forget to sign up for our conference in February. Mary Ellen Stone is online, and she is one of our speakers in February. She's going to be doing creative smartphones. So she's got some really cool stuff that she's going to be showing us, and we've got lots of great speakers, some new people, a couple people who have been with us in the past. So check that out in the blog, newsletter, website, all that fun stuff. And let me stop sharing this for a second. And I will throw up my last slide. Don't forget to get your notes for today's webinar. It includes the images that I used, and because I didn't have any textures to use in here, I'm giving you a bonus set of 6 textures as well. Just $7.50, and it's on sale until next week on the 19th. Thank you, Helen. She said thank you for all your ongoing efforts. We're all looking forward to the conference too. Yeah, lots of cool stuff here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vicki. Pat says thanks for the textures. Sandy already signed up. Thank you. Mia signed up. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this today. I know we covered a lot of ground quickly, so you can always, watch the replay again to kind of get the sense of what I did. And that's why it's good to have the notes, because then you can have the images and put them into your phone or your iPad and tablet and work along with the recording and kind of see how things come together. So hopefully I don't make you spend too much money on apps, but they are a lot of fun. Oh, I was going to show, somebody asked how many apps I have. Let me share again real quick. I'll show you all the craziness that I have in here. Going to reshare my iPad. I had to get this little plugin app that would let me share my iPad to my PC because it used to, and then with one of the updates a couple of years ago, it stopped doing that. So I have, these are my main apps, but I do have Affinity at the top. I do have all the Dixie picks. I do have Adobe apps, which I don't really use all that often, but then I have another whole page of apps with another folder of all kinds of miscellaneous stuff in here. Some do like kaleidoscope and Mandela effects, sketch apps. If you do ever want to do like sketch effects, I didn't show this one today. This one called Sketchmaster. This is the best one I found for like sketching effects. This one is, I think it has a free version. To purchase it is, I don't know, like $2 or $3. You'll definitely want to purchase this one because the ads in it are just like horrendous. There's so many of them. And if you do the free trial first, it will have in the upper left a arrow pointing like back. You have to click on that to get to the upgrade to be able to purchase it. It's a little confusing, but yeah, so I have all those apps. And I have all these apps too. So yes, I do have quite a lot of apps. This one at the bottom, Pixelmatic, that's the one that went like stupid on its price from what it used to be. And it doesn't even do the same things anymore. Yearly, $79.99. It's like all AI stuff now. It doesn't even do what it used to do, which made it even worse. So I won't be buying that one. I just have it there to kind of illustrate to people. Phew. Alrighty. So we covered a lot of ground. And David says, how much RAM do you find works best for your iPad? I think it goes by the space. It doesn't really go by RAM. Let me see what my settings are. I think I have, hang on, let me go into my settings. I'll take a look. I always forget where it is about, I think. I have 512 gigabytes. So, and I think the basic is like the 126 or something like that. So that's why I do have a lot of space to store things. And like I said, I do on my iCloud, I spend $9.99 to get extra storage space as well every month. So for me, it's a business thing. So, alrighty, everybody. I thank you very much for being here. I hope you learned a lot today. As always, reach out and contact me if you have any questions. And we will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.